Hey boys and girls, we are here to start lesson 3 of unit 28. Now, what you are going to need is you are going to need your dry erase marker, something that you can erase with. I just have a little napkin here. And then get out your 2 laminated cards that Miss Martin and I gave you, and we're going to use those kind of like our syllable boards, okay? All right, now boys and girls, we have learned about closed syllables. Okay, so let's see what we remember. I'm gonna ask a couple questions, so I just want you to answer them out loud. Now, how many vowels are in a closed syllable? You're right, it's 1. Now, does a closed syllable end with a vowel or does it end with a consonant? If you said consonant, you're right. Now, does the vowel in a closed syllable spell short or long sounds? You're right, it's short. All right, now boys and girls, I'm going to show you a really big word, and it's going to look like this. Ooh, that's a big word. Now, should we look at the vowels or the consonants first? You're right, we should look at the vowels. So I'm going to underline those vowels. There's an O and an E. Now, how many vowels are in this word? You're right. There are 2 vowels in this word. It is O and E. Now, are the vowels next to each other? No. Okay. So since this word has 2 vowels and the vowel letters are not next to each other, I know that the word has 2 syllables. Okay. So I want you to have your 2 syllable boards now, or your 2 little laminated cards. And we're going to break this word into syllables to help me read it. So I'm going to use my syllable boards. Now, because the word has 2 syllables, I need 2 of them. Okay. Now, next I'm going to write 1 vowel letter in the middle of each board. Okay, so here are my boards. I'm going to do this up on the screen, and I think it will be easier for you. Okay, so I'm going to write the letters O and E. Okay, now I can close my syllables. I want to add my consonants around the vowels so that each board ends with a consonant. Okay, that makes each syllable a closed syllable. So on my first board, I'm going to bring down my C and my N. So I'm going to write that around my O, and then I'm going to write the T, the S, and the T next to my E on the second board. Now, these are both closed syllables. Each syllable has 1 vowel and each ends in a consonant. So now I know how to read this word because the pattern that we just learned, or that we've been learning, tells me that the vowel will spell a short sound. So I'm going to read mine. Okay. Test. Contest. Okay. Now remember, there are 3 questions that we want to ask ourselves when we want to read a word with more than 1 syllable. How many vowels are in that word? Are the vowels next to each other? And how many syllables are there? Now, if the vowels are not next to each other, then each vowel will be on a different syllable, or will be in a different syllable and a different syllable board. Okay. All right. Let's look at our next word. Sorry, friends, give it a sec. All right. So here is my word. Now we are going to use those questions to help us read those words. Now, the first question I'm going to ask is, how many vowels are in this? You're right. There are 2. It is I and I. And I've already, my computer already went ahead and did that for you. Now, are the vowels next to each other? Nope, they're not. So since this word has 2 vowels and 2 letters that are not next to each other, how many syllables does this word have? You're right, it's 2. Now, yes, and since the word has 2 syllables, how many syllables do we need? We need 2. Okay. Now, since we have our 2 syllables, we are going to write one vowel letter in the middle of each board. Okay. So we're going to bring down our I and our I. Now I can add my consonants around the vowels so that each board ends with a consonant because each closes the syllable. So I added my F and my N to the first board and my SH to the last board, or to the second board. All right, now boys and girls, I want you guys to do the same. Okay, now these are both closed syllables. Now each syllable has one vowel and each ends with a consonant. So now we know how to read this word because the pattern tells us that the vowels will spell their short sound. Let's read it together. Fin-ish. What's my word, friends? You're right, it's finish. Good job. Now, boys and girls, it is going to be your turn to read some 2-syllable words on your own. Okay. Now we're going to use our syllable words to read 4 2-syllable words. Okay. Now remember, since each syllable has one vowel, put one vowel letter on each board. Then close each syllable, make it end with a consonant, so you get a 2 closed syllable, or you get 2 closed syllables. Now, when we are trying to read big words, should we look for vowels or consonants? You're right, we should look for vowels. All right. Now, boys and girls, I want you to look at this word right here. How many vowels are in this word? You're right, there are 2. They are the letters E and I. Now, are the vowels next to each other? Nope. So since they're not next to each other, how many syllables are there? You're right, there are 2. And how many syllable boards do we need? You're right, again, 2. Okay, so let's bring our vowels down, our E and our I, and then I want you to go ahead and start putting the consonant around them. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that on mine. I brought down the T and the N on my first syllable card, and on the next one, I brought down the N and the S. So let's look at our word. We're going to read each word, and then we're going to blend them together. Okay. So we have tennis. Nice job. All right, here's our next one. Erase those boards. All right, boys and girls, here is our next word. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to look at my word, and I want you to tell me how many vowels are in this word. Okay, you're right, there are 2. What are they? I and E. Nice job. Now, since there are 2 vowels, are my vowels next to each other? No, they're not. So since they're not next to each other, how many syllables are there in this word? You're right, there are 2. And so how many syllable boards do we need? We need 2. All right, so I want you to get your little index cards or your boards out, and I want you to bring down those vowels. You're going to bring down the I and the E. All right, now I want you to fill in those consonants around those vowels. Okay. Okay, remember we're making it so it closes the syllable. Okay. All right. Now let's read them. Pig, pen. What's our word? Pig pen. Nice jobs. All right, friends, let's look at this word right here. We are going to look at it and we're going to decide if there are any vowels in our word. Are there any vowels? Yes, there are. There are 2. All right, say them out loud what those, or say them out loud what those 2 vowels are. A U and a A. Nice job. All right, friends. Now, are the vowels next to each other? Nope. So since they're not next to each other, how many syllables are there? There are 2. So you're going to bring your vowels down on your 2 cards. You're going to bring down the vowel U on one board and A on the next. Then once you've done that, I want you to go ahead and fill in your consonants. You're going to bring down, for the first one that has the U wrote on it, you're going to bring the S and the N. And the card that has the vowel A on it, you're going to bring down the T and the N. So then we're going to break this word apart and we're going to look at it one card at a time. This word says sun. This one says tan. Let's put it together. Suntan. Nice job, friends. All right, this is going to be our last word that we are going to read together. So I want you to look at it. I want you to decide if there are any vowels in this word. You're right, there's the U and the I. So I'm going to underline those. Then, since there are 2 vowels, are they next to each other? They are not. So I'm going to bring those 2 vowels down because I know that they're each going to have their own card. I'm going to fill in the U and the I. And then I'm going to bring down all the rest of my consonants. So I'm going to bring the P down to the first card, the H, and the 2 L's on the next one. All right, so I'm going to read this word now. This one says up. This word says hill. All right, let's blend it together, friends. Uphill. Nice job. All right, boys and girls, nice job reading big words with me today. Have a good one.